Hey guys, it's Electron Man. Well, we're going to do a little different one today. We're going to do a radio install on a 2006 Toyota Tundra truck. And basically, the reason I'm doing is I want a navigation system in it and I want Bluetooth. It's 2006 technology, that, and it was a really bone to the bottom option truck. It has crank windows, if that tells you anything, and manual door locks, but it just has an AM FM CD player in it now, and I really would like to have Bluetooth. I'd like to have nav in there. Obviously, get up to the this century with technology. So we're going to go through the install. I picked this box unit right here, mainly because it has a built-in navigation. It's not one connected to Google Maps or whatever. I didn't want that. I don't want to have to be dependent on data to use my navigation. I want a full-blown navigation, which this says full-blown with the GPS antenna. And then I've got my little install kit here, which I picked up. I'll provide links for this stuff too, but basically the install link's pretty simple. It's got these two little brackets here, I guess, to mount on the sides to cover up that area, and then here's obviously my wiring, which what I always do on a car stereo install is I'm going to go ahead and pre-wire the factory plug. So when I unplug the factory unit, I will just plug this unit into it and not cut any of the factory wires. So I leave all the internal to the truck as they were from factory and just use this harness, which you can get these harnesses for about any vehicle. So anyway, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install this wiring harness to this radio and get it prepped to go ahead and get in the vehicle. And then once I get that done, then we'll go ahead and do the install on the truck. Okay, guys, well, I'm getting ready to do some wiring here, and fortunately on the boss unit, it has everything marked clearly what each wire is, and then the little kit that I got for the wiring on it, it tells you what the code is for the wires on it. It tells you, like this is going to be your main harness that goes into it, and this is actually the secondary harness is just for rear speakers, which I'm debating on whether I want to wire that up or not. I'm not going to do any rear speakers, but I might go ahead and wire it up just so I don't have loose wires back there. And then that, and I'd always have the option of going back, and I don't know if it'll have the plug. Sometimes they'll actually have the plug in there and the wires there. You just have to add the speaker. So I'll probably go ahead and just wire it, just since it's only 4 connections, and wire it. But anyway, basically the way we're going to go about this is obviously, like it says red here, it says that's 12 volts. Well, then I'm going to find the corresponding wire accessory is going to be my 12 volts, and then my yellow is going to be the B plus, meaning that it's constant 12 volts all the time. So that'll be yellow. So my first 2 wires actually correspond with the colors, and then of course black is always going to be ground, and then it's got power antenna, which I don't have a power antenna, but I will probably go ahead and hook it up, and it is blue, so those match up even. We have illumination is orange, which I'll go ahead and wire that up. Basically, it looks like the color codes are actually going to match, so we're just going to take a little time here. I'm going to get my soldering iron out, and I know it's kind of overkill, but I'll go ahead and I'll wire these up, and I'm going to solder and heat shrink each connection. I sure don't want any shorts behind the dash, so I think it's worth to spend a little extra time and go ahead and just twist all this and solder. I'll probably go ahead and put this in fast forward as I do the soldering and heat shrinking. I mean, I don't think you want to sit here for 15 minutes and watch me do this one by one and solder it, so it'll probably go into fast forward. But anyway, let me go ahead and get started on getting this guy soldered up, prepped to go into the truck. Okay, yeah, now I know this is a little overkill, but I like to keep my things nice and neat, so I'll do some wire ties here just to, so when I tuck it underneath the dash, or back in the dash, it'll be nice and neat, not all sprawled all over the place. I used to, back in the day, do a few car stereo installs, and people always liked my installs because I'm really kind of OCD on it. I want them to be nice and neat, no chance of any electrical issues, etc. Let me spend the extra 15 minutes and do it right, so you don't have to go back and rework it. Anyway, that gets the whole main harness there. I'll clip these off. And there you go, guys. Look at that. And look how pretty that's gonna look. Just plug that right into the harness. It's got all the speakers I'm gonna need right there. And I'm thinking that's probably a yeah, that's a steering wheel control, but my truck doesn't have that, so that'll just stay empty. But there you go. I think I'll go ahead and put the other connector on there. By the way, it's interesting, this wiring harness, I don't know, usually they don't everything match, but on this particular wiring harness, every single color for the from the deck to the wiring harness were color coded correctly. Grays went to grays, white went to white, blues went to, you know, I mean, it was down the line exact replica. Even the back speakers are the same way. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do these back speaker wires here, and then the next time you'll see me, like magic of camera, I'll be inside the truck doing the install in 3, 2, like 1. Magic, here we are in my vehicle. I've already kind of researched it a little bit, so I kind of know what I need to do to get into this dash area here. Hopefully the camera's picking it all up. Kind of hard to find a good spot, but you pull these knobs off, according to everything I read. Pull these 3 knobs off. And then you got 2 screws. If you push the vents up and up here, there should be some screws. Those are going to be fun to put back in. Don't worry about it falling down. I mean, if I put that like that, it'll... Hopefully that'll keep them from falling down. And then you got 3 screws here behind the controllers. Those 3. Okay. And so hopefully it'll just come out. I don't know if it's going to just come out, but I'm more worried about them screws up there. Let me go get a magnet. I'm going to see if I can't get those screws before they drop down inside the dash and I never find them again. Hopefully you're not getting too much road noise. It's so nice outside that I'm doing this outside instead of inside the garage. At least it didn't end up in the dash. There we go. Okay. And I guess get a little screwdriver behind here, see if we can't pry it out a little bit. Yep, just like that. Well, they were right. No deceiving in that. So I just kind of push this to the side here. Get my handy dandy little socket set that I use for about everything. And they look like tins to me. That's definitely some interesting mounts there. Let's go ahead and hope you're getting a good view of this. But you got 4 bolts here. Go ahead and break them loose. Damn, these things are tight. Okay. Now then. Again, try to be real cautious about not dropping a bolt down in the dash. I got one out safely. two out safely. Hopefully there's not too much noise in here. Like I said, I'm outside, so kind of might be in your way. Again, I hope I got this camera pointed right, because I'm not going to want to have to go back and treat it. Well, I'm not going back. Basically 4 bolts there. And let's see if the head unit comes out. Now, there she comes. And it looks like there's the head unit out. And the interesting thing is, it does have the rear wiring there. I'm glad I went ahead and put the rear wiring on there too. I mean, it doesn't have any rear speakers, so I'm not sure exactly. Hopefully it's wired for it, and if I want to add speakers later, I can. It does fit. It does fit. And all we got left to do is plug in the antenna. Oh, and the GPS antenna, which is probably going to be the funnest part of this install. A little bit ahead of myself here. And obviously this is going to plug in here. I got to figure out how does this go bracket wise. So I'm guessing from what I've read, which, yeah, see, this thing's about 1/4 inch wider, so that's why I have this install kit here, because what this install kit's going to do is fill in that area, because it's almost just doubled in right out of the factory. And then you have these factory screws here, 3 on each side. So what I'm probably going to need to do is line it up with this one, compare them front to back. So it's going to be looks like the furthest end screws. Okay. Meaning furthest in, this one and this one. From my appearance, that's what it looks like it's going to be. So let's go ahead and get this one off. Is that a 10-2? No, of course not. It looks more like an 8 to me. Or a 9. Is it an 8 or a 9? It's an 8. I was right to start with. Hopefully I know this is kind of, I don't know how much you're getting at this because it's kind of on the far end of this camera, but anyway, I'm just taking these factory brackets off. Yeah, I need to try to remanufacture these things. Okay, that is this side, so use the same side. A little plastic bracket here, which, see if the holes line up. It does say left. Okay, yeah, it's these two right here. Okay, so I'm guessing like that. deck down here. Hopefully you're getting this. I'll put it up in front of the camera if you're not getting it. Hopefully they're the same size bolts. So far it's been pretty much 1 for 1. Great, doesn't look like it's going to be long enough. Seriously? Oh, don't drop the screws. Last thing you want to do. The problem I'm running into is it's got these little dimples on here, the back of this bracket, which is making it not want to set flat. Never easy, right? Never easy. Yeah, the dimples are not going to work. Great. Okay, well, mod 1. Guess I'm doing something wrong and I can't see where I am. It's going to have to go. I mean, that makes sense. It's going to go there, there. That hole line up with that hole. And then it'll mount just like that. Yeah, it looks like the deck of the width's going to be right, so that's good. So really, all I got to do, it really wouldn't matter. I could either go above or below it, but either way, I got this on the one side and I got the dimple on the other. As usual, nothing simple. I'll be back. Okay, guys. Well, I've been paused for a little bit because I had to go get my good old Dremel tool out, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's got these little, I guess, positioners on the back, or nipples, whatever you want to call them. And I had to grind the 2 off of here because it would not sit flat up against my new deck with this little plastic bracket here. It would get in the way. But it was easy. I just ground them off, ground those 2 off smooth there. And now I've got this side mounted. I'm getting ready to mount this side. Hopefully you're getting a view of this. And basically the way it works is you just line it up at the 2 holes here. Get the bracket oriented in the right direction. And no longer do the nipples get in the way. And then you just take, sorry I'm trying to do this and let you see on the camera, and it's awkward enough without trying to do that. But anyway, hopefully you can see. Tell you what, I'm gonna get this mounted, then I'll show you after you get it mounted. Because it's two. Basically, you're gonna use these 2 holes here, line it up at these 2, and wedge this in between it to fill in that area. So let me go ahead and set this on my lap and get it to where I can get to it. It's not as hard if I get it without trying to be in front of the camera. That aligned, get that aligned, get that one started. And they're just, the screws are just barely long enough. But they are long enough. The ones that came with the radio are not long enough, so that wasn't going to work. I don't know if you can see this or not. I already got the top one in now. I'm just getting the bottom one in. I mean, they're just barely long enough too. You got to get it. Yeah, I got it threaded right. Get about 3 or 4 turns on there is all. Probably be careful not to over tighten that. Again, trying to show you in front of the camera makes it a lot harder. Man, there's one in the back there. Where did it? There it goes. Probably shouldn't have tightened those before I got that back one in, dang it. There we go, get that back one. There's 3 of them on each side. It's an install kit, but I wouldn't say it's turnkey, just snap it together. I had to whittle and fiddle. But anyway, now as you can see, these are the factory mounts. And as you can see, these little pieces that came in the install kit, really all they're doing is filling in that area on each side, because it was just a little bit narrower than the factory one. But you definitely want them flush, and then the metal bracket over the top, or you even have more of a gap there. Let me go ahead and plug the deck back in. I had to unplug the deck because it was just... Now they just nice and neatly... I'll get ahead of myself here. I need to find the antenna. There we go. Get the antenna plugged into it. Again, be real careful not to pinch it. Oh shoot, I gotta wrap that GPS wire. Shoot. Your GPS antenna here. Oh, hopefully I don't sound like Darth Vader either. I got a GoPro 5. This does 4K. It's GoPro 3 Plus, and it does 4K, and I got a 5, but the 5 audio, it sucks on it. I'm really disappointed in GoPro, at least 5. I don't know, maybe they've gotten better now, but I mean, this 3 is like super sensitive, but the 5 is like, you got to be on top of it, and it's kind of muffled sounding. I guess you could get an external mic, but anyway, that's why I keep recording on the 3, is because the audio is so much better on it. By the way, sorry I'm outside. Somebody wanting to run their motorcycle right now. Just it's a pretty day. It's like 70 degrees out here, 75, and nice little breeze. I'm already sweating. This is turning into more work. There's the old deck, by the way. In fact, I'm gonna get it completely out of here, and I'm gonna stop it for a minute and go around the other side and see if I can't route it underneath, kind of where I mounted my CB antenna up in here, and get it up in here, and then I'll figure out how to route it outside. Okay, my plan is, which I got both doors open now, so you're probably getting wind noise, but is to see if I can't just route this GPS antenna. I don't know how easy that's going to be for me to... Probably easier for me to feed it. Well, I can't do that. What is this anyway? Oh, this is from that. This is a company vehicle. It had a GPS in it. That's from that. I thought they pulled it completely out. How they just pulled the unit out and left all the other stuff behind. Now that'll get me in the room. If you got that on camera, jeez. That definitely got me the room I needed. By the way, the glove box just falls out. Well, I don't know what to do with this. I'm tempted to just cut it, but I don't want to short something out. I can just go ahead and get that out of there. Hell. Let me get my voltmeter. I'm going to stop on this for a minute. This GPS crap needs to come out, and I need to get a voltmeter and see if it's got hot to it. So if I snip it, I don't end up shorten some out. Anyway, you get the idea. When I come back, I'm just going to route this GPS wire, as you can see through here, screwed on the back of the deck. It'll go up underneath. I come around the corner here, and you mount it right up here outside somewhere. Get that crap out there. Oh, this is the other part of that GPS. Yeah, that all needs to come out. But anyway, let me come back. As you see, I'm just routing the GPS wire. Nothing secret there that you need super tips on. But let me get back here. I'm gonna stop, guys. What I always think something's gonna be real easy. I'll pop it in 20, 30 minutes, and I end up looking like this. This really isn't the radio install. I just thought I'd let you see. This is over the company I used to work for, lying as usual. They lied and said they had all the GPS out. Little did I know, when I go to put it in here, they didn't do squat. Probably tried to save $5, like they typically did on everything else. The lying no goods. But anyway, yeah, so I took the GPS out myself, but what a mess that turned into. But anyway, I'm going to start putting it all back together, and I'll be back to installing the radio here in a minute. I think I'm just kind of making this a point, you know. Be prepared to spend a half a day when you get in a project like this, because you just never know what you're going to get drawn into next. Okay, guys, we got her all ready to go in now. Hopefully get a close look at that. As you can see, this little plastic brackets that came with that kit, there and there, really all they did is they just fill in that little extra gap that would be if you didn't have them. I mean, technically you could put this radio in without them. It uses factory mounts. Fortunately, the Boss radio definitely had the hole positions for where the screws needed to go, and they were even the same thread as what was in the factory. So that part was easy. I had to grind off those nipples to get it to fit in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and, hopefully for the final time, get everything hooked up here. I got the GPS antenna routed. I just routed it up underneath the dash and just tucked it up in there and put it up over there in the corner on the inside. I think it'll work fine. If not, I've got plenty of cord. I could put it on the outside, but I think on the inside in front of the windshield it'll be fine. I think the GPS can get through the windshield. It's just you wouldn't want it underneath the metal. So I think that'll work fine. If it doesn't, like I said, I can move it around. But anyway, let me go ahead and hope for the last time plug this guy back in. And then we want to screw our GPS antenna in. Go ahead and route it this way, which it just screws into this only place on the back that it'll fit. And then all we got is the regular AM/FM antenna, which plugs right in there. Now we just neatly tuck those wires in, make sure we're not pinching anything, and she should slide on in there. Which it did. Okay, we're all lined up. That was easy. That's been the easiest part. I'm going to tell you, this thing's fought me all the way. It really wasn't its fault. It was all that GPS junk I had to pull out of here. That was not part of the radio install, but I wanted to go ahead and clean it up, and of course it ended up taking almost the whole bottom of the dash off to get it all out. They had fuses underneath there, and it was ugly. I spent a couple hours cleaning that all up, but I had kind of OCD. I wasn't about to leave it with exposed wires or anything. It's probably for the good. I mean, they did a crappy job installing that GPS tracking anyway, so I mean, you can tell it's just kind of thrown in there. Bunch of splice connectors and crap. I got that all out. Cut it down, completely cut it out. There's no wires left from it at all. As you can see, I'm just putting the factory 4 bolts back in here. There we go. One more to go. And then we should have, we're definitely on the progress train to getting this done. what I thought was going to be an hour turned into half a day. Just from all the having to grind the little nipples off of the factory brackets. Just all these little things you just don't plan on. Okay. Should I go ahead and see if it powers up before I put the dash back? Nah, I'm not going to do that. I know I got it right. I might be eating my words on that, but I'm pretty confident I got it right. Make sure there's anything I need to plug in there. I didn't unplug anything, so don't need to plug anything back in. That should just snap in there, which it does. Hey, I like the install kit. It did make it nice and pretty there. No gaps or anything there. You can see actually looks quite nice. Hopefully you're getting a full picture. I don't know if this little bezel will fit on here or not. It's not necessary, but if it would, I'd put it on. Nah, it doesn't need it anyway. So I guess depending on your install, there's not enough room to you can get that on there. But it looks great. I like the way they curve the corners, and there's no gaps, nothing. So let me go ahead and put the screws all back in here. Try to not lose one so far. That's one thing I haven't done. Amazingly, I haven't lost a screw yet. Of course, by the time I brag about it, I'll lose one. I tell you, that is a blind hole. There. Okay. That one's in. I can get this in without losing it. Then the other three I don't think I have a problem with. Oh, don't you dare. See, it tried. It tried. That sucker. Well, you tried, didn't you? I didn't let you think that I got that magnetic tip screwdriver. Or I'd have tearing it apart, searching for a screw. Bad thing about losing one back there, then you got to worry about the thing shorting out or rattling forever. Okay, that's done. That's done. Now, I believe I've got 3 more screws here, which go behind these controllers here. One. Two. Hey, I didn't lose any screws either. That's amazing. And 3. Then we just put the knobs back on. I don't know if they're specific to anything. It doesn't look like it. See, I believe I had that on the... There we go. That should be... There we go. And there we go. Just like that. Voila! We are now done. Let me go ahead and do the most satisfying part. Definitely wanted to wait till last of that, all the handling I did with it. Man, it looks nice and clean, guys. Let me go ahead and shut the door here and see if my install paid off. Boss Audio Systems. got volume.
For you, come on, head for the mountains of Bush.
I don't know how you...
Threat.
There we go.
He never was physically assaulted.
Touchscreen.
People would, you know, shout slurs in the hallway, but they did that even before they knew I was gay. At least now I could own it and say, like, yes, and what's your point? As opposed to before, where I was kind of cowering. Can I tell you about a moment, actually, that was really key?
Well, that's a lot louder than what I had before.
But I want to let you know about it because it was so instrumental.
Nav,
in sort of
radio.
my journey.
Hopefully you're seeing this good.
My journey. Yeah.
Well, guys, that's the install. Hopefully you enjoyed this install. Obviously, I'm going to do a radio review as well. Like I kind of said from the start, this is kind of a two-part. This part here was getting it installed, and it's completely installed now. So now, if you want to check it out, go ahead and check out the review on the radio, which I'll get into more details on the radio on the other review. But it's working. That's what I wanted to make sure of. Looks like everything's rocking solid on it. One other thing on the install, there's a light green wire that's supposed to go to your parking brake, and I opted to just ground it. With doing that, though, the only thing is it means that you can play DVDs or media while you're driving. But I'm a grown adult, and I'll never do that. And I didn't want to have to wire it way up under the dash up in here to get to the parking brake, so I was kind of cheated on that. So it'll actually play multimedia all the time. Shh, don't tell nobody. But I promise you, I'll never drive and watch a movie, so that's not going to be an issue. But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's not too long. Have a great day out there. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to you later. This is Electron Man.